Hello, Movie Squad audience. My name is Christian Michael Stoic, and I am here to review the film Hidden Figures. Now, Hidden Figures is nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. But is it really worth it? Well, I'm going to give you a little rundown of what I think of the movie. Now, before I talk about my thoughts, I want to give you a plot so you understand the setting and the tone of the film. It's a true story of three women who worked for NASA during the 1960s. Katherine Goebel, Mary Jackson, and Dorothy Vaughan. These three women were instrumental in helping John Glenn make it into orbit and then get back safely onto Earth. I guess that's a spoiler warning, but I can't spoil a true story. Now, the entirety is set during the Russian space race sort of thing with the US. And it's all like really well done in terms of setting it up with the time frame, and it works extremely well, but it also delves into the segregation and the racism of the 1960s and the fight for civil rights during that time, which is a really powerful theme to go by. And seeing these women and their brave journey is amazing. It's great to see this story come to life and to see the emotion and the power behind it, because there's a lot of scenes in the movie where now you look at it and like, holy shit, that's racist. That's really bad. But again, it fits perfectly with our modern times because politically we're dealing with racist themes. Racism still exists as much as we'd like to push it in the past. And I feel like the film does a really good job of bringing up that topic, that there is a difference between how people are perceived. And it finds that tone, that topic, and that theme, and it runs through with it the entire film, which does allow for a lot of emotional connections and emotional depth with the characters. With that in mind, the performances of every single actor in this movie are fantastic. Not the best I've seen, but they are really good. Specifically, I'm going to mention Kevin Costner and Taraji P. Henson. They just do a really great job. The rest of the cast is pretty much serviceable. Octavia Spencer and Janelle Monáe also do great, but the rest of everybody is kind of secondary to the main story between Taraji P. Henson and Kevin Costner, and it shows how good actors can really like up a film. The writing and dialogue is very good for the film, but I feel like a lot of their acting and their weight just lends to it and makes everything better. It does a really good job of showing the time period, showing the segregation, which I think is really important for this film. It also does a really good job of having the actors, through the dialogue, sound like they know the math stuff. It's a lot about like the brilliance of these women, and specifically Katherine Goebel Johnson, who is a mathematician, basically a math genius. It's mainly her story, and seeing that like math genius be not accepted as one of the best, even though she's better than everybody else there pretty much, was kind of also hard to watch because it's not fair. It definitely pulls at you emotionally. Now, I will say that with the film itself and of the other Oscar-nominated films that I've seen in comparison, I don't think Hidden Figures is the best they chose. It's a good movie. It's a solid movie. Solid true story movie with a lot of really good themes and writing. But it's not amazing. And I was not blown away by it, but I expected that. It is a little bit of that quote-unquote Oscar bait, which I don't like using, but it does feel a little bit like that. Now, if it didn't have that hype of the Oscars around it, maybe I wouldn't have gone into it a little bit less, I guess critical, but at the same point, I still really liked the movie. It was a really well made movie. It gave me the feels in several places, feels that I didn't even know I had. Hey, but the movie itself is a solid film with a really good cast and pretty good writing, and it does what it needs to do. And I feel like if you want to go see a really good true story with a good theme and message behind it, then you can't go wrong with Hidden Figures. It's a solid movie, and I think it would be good to to basically keep in mind, because a lot of the racism still exists. As much as a lot of white people like to say it doesn't, it absolutely does. And I feel like this politically fits into that and needs to be said, that someone's, like, your preconceived notion of someone is usually always wrong. And I think that was the main point of this film, and it does hammer that in very well. So I do give it credit for doing that well. I'm not going to give a score for this, but I'm just going to say that if you want to see a good movie with a good heart and a good message, I recommend Hidden Figures. And if you're already planning to see the rest of the nominees like I am planning to do, definitely go see it. You're going to need to. So, yeah. But thank you for listening to my review of this film. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to continue making more reviews for this site. Thank you. Bye, Movie Squad people. I don't know how to sign off here, but bye.